And a lot of people have a hard time doing that because the zone of like excellence is where sometimes you make a lot of money, even if you don't like it, even if you don't feel comfortable. And getting out of that and getting into a zone of genius where you feel comfortable doing all those things and still making money is harder.
Hi, and welcome to The Road to Revenue. This is the podcast where we talk to creators to understand the bumps in the road, the twists, the turns, everything on their own personal road to revenue. Joining me today, I have the absolutely amazing Shelley. Welcome, Shelley.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited
to be here. Normally you're saving your own day, but today you're saving ours. So we're super, super excited.
I'll try.
So Road to Revenue, we are super keen. Creators, it's a common conversation. Everyone's having it. But what I want to do is understand a little bit more of the origin story. What was it that first motivated you to actually pick up a microphone, pick up a camera, stick yourself in front of it, and make this a thing? What was it, 6-7 years ago, or?
Yeah, it's about that. So what's funny is this is my, third YouTube channel, something like that, officially, which is funny because now I still have many. But originally I came to YouTube because of an NFL cheerleading team. I was trying out for a team, and the coach, after one of the dance sessions, was like, because she was giving tips to everyone, she's like, great dancing, you need to go learn how to do makeup. And she wasn't wrong because I'd never really worn a lot of makeup. And she's like, you need to go to the MAC counter and have them do a makeover for you and, get the stuff. And then I had all this stuff and I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. So I started going down the rabbit hole of what was like beauty YouTube video tutorials at the time. And then fast forward a few years, I was like, you know what? I know that I am not talented enough to go tell people about how to do some sort of smoky eye, but I have opinions on things that come out of subscription boxes because I was also getting them. They were very big at the time, like Ipsy, BoxyCharm. So I was like, I can do this. I can just say what I think of the things as I'm unboxing them. So I did one video. And so that was my very first YouTube channel. And then I went to a dinner at a friend's house and I said, I kind of started a YouTube channel. You know how you do, and you're kind of like embarrassed and you're not really telling anyone. And she's like, oh my God, I want to do that too. Let's do it together. And I was like, all right. So that was the next YouTube channel. Was we started one so that we could do this together because she was also receiving these same subscription boxes. And we did that for 9 months. And then it became this thing where I wanted to talk about the creator journey. Like, how do we set up the filming equipment? How do we talk about editing? What do we talk about with creators for lighting? And she was like, I want to talk about skincare. So we ended up switching and kind of breaking apart the channels. And then that's when this channel that we're probably talking about was born. So this is my third YouTube channel. So I could finally talk about those things that I wanted to, like video editing and lighting and being on YouTube, because I thought it was important to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, there are an incredible number of variations and different pieces of technology and software. So I know I've watched a lot of your tutorials. They are absolutely incredible. I have.
Thank you.
I started as a fan. So now you've done a wide range of. So it's not just you don't stick to one platform or.
That's a very kind way of saying that you're all over the place. I appreciate that. I really do.
Well, no, I think that the reality of being a creator is that you kind of have to be all over the place in terms of the technology that you're using. So I think for me, it seemed like you were reflecting that. But how do you pick what it is that you work with, that you review? What becomes tutorial?
Well, a lot of the time it's just from personal life experience. So I was learning how to do this special effect and I thought, wow, I should probably record it just in case I forget how to do it, which I have done before. And I remember specifically I'd learned how to cut people out inside of Photoshop. This was before the auto magic that was like the automatic cutout. And so I was like, how do I do this? And I remember I did a tutorial on it because I learned it from like Pixie Imperfect or someplace, of course, that you learn. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. I'm going to film it. And then I ended up like putting it out. And then like a couple months later when I needed to do it, I went back to my own tutorial to watch it. So sometimes it's just for me so I can like remind myself how to do it later.
Brilliant.
But other times it's questions that people have when they ask me like, I did this. Well, it didn't work for me when I wanted to do it. So I'm like, well, that's weird. Let me try it. And then I try it and then I film it and then I tell them like, this is how you do it. So it comes from both personal experience as well as.
I love it because it's almost like a second brain.
Yeah. It's like it's a mental journal. It's a video journal, right? Like I learned how to do this thing. Let me just like put it down, and then I don't have to remember how to do this thing. I just remember to come back and watch it.
Oh no,
later.
that's absolutely brilliant. So when you started off doing the all the tutorials and kind of you made that leap, like at what point did revenue even come into the conversation, or did it even come into your mind? Was it a thought early on? Was it not? When was there a moment that you kind of thought, hang on a minute, maybe there's some money in this?
You know, it's funny. At the beginning, no, it wasn't really a thought that I had in my mind, because the tutorial and educational part always came more naturally because I wanted to share with people. And one of the things I really wanted to do is just, I don't like people who give it a lot of excuses. Well, I don't know how to do this, or I don't have the money to do this, or so I was always kind of like, well, put up or shut up. Let me show you how to do it for cheap or for free, or just how to do it, period. And then you can't use that. You have to remove that excuse. And then it comes down to like, I'm scared, or I don't want to, or I don't make the time, right? But you have to remove those first things first. And so as the daughter of a school teacher, like education was just always in my back pocket. And I was always like, well, if you learned it, you should teach it, because you always don't know how well you know something until you try and teach it to others, right? And you're just like trying. So it was always in my like wheelhouse to do tutorials. And I think what's funny is like later on, maybe I should not have chosen a free software. And I consciously at the beginning made that choice. I was like, oh, I'm going to do a whole bunch of iMovie tutorials because iMovie's for free on a Mac, and you should have access to this. So I went like full force on iMovie tutorials for a while. And then it became harder because like I had some of these videos take off, and then I was like, but I'm not making any money because you get paid abysmally for the views. And then I was just like, I can't get any affiliate revenue for recommending iMovie because iMovie's free. So later on down the line, I finally I went to Vid Summit. I started talking to some people, and they're also like, where's your email list? Where's your course? Where's your whatever? And I'm like, guys, I'm just teaching people stuff. And they're like, no, like, money, right? And I'm like, yeah, I guess I need some of that. So I tried to make a course, and that was originally one of the first ways that I was doing that. And of course, trying to like link affiliate products. And I was still at that time also trying to weave some beauty stuff in there. So I was trying to even make some tutorials like how to do this like a beauty person, or like, so I would bring in the product and I would try and link the product in Amazon or something like that to like, maybe someone will see that I'm doing a tutorial on how to remove the background of this beauty product, and they'll be like, I would like this beauty product. Yeah, I was trying. It was a far stretch, but so I started thinking about like interweaving some of these little ways, but it didn't come until like much, much later after I was already in. And one of the things that really brought it out was I did an entire series for a little while because, you know, when you're in the beginning and you think all you can do is beauty videos or home type things or fashion because you're a woman, that's just a whole other conversation. I was doing a series where you test a new foundation every week because I'm trying to find like a perfect color. And then I was going out and I was spending all this money every week, but my channel wasn't making any money. So of course my channel was just a big negative money suck. And so I was like, I'm going to go broke. I don't have all this money to do this. So originally, that's when I actually reached out to a lot of these beauty companies, and I started asking them, will you send me a foundation so I can make a video on it? And so at least I was getting money for, or like product for videos. And so that was one of the ways I was like, wow, you really have to work smarter, not harder.
So I don't know if that counts as creator math, but I think it might.
Creator math, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, where
I've heard of dog math and boy math and girl math. Creator math is completely a thing.
If it isn't, it is now.
It is now. You know what? Just because of that, I'm going to create a YouTube short called Creator Math, and I will totally,
Brilliant. I love it.
I love it.
So you hit the bump in the road of you're spending more. You're not getting as much coming in from views, but you actually then saw the light, figured you could get some free product, and actually then start to kind of flip that balance. But a bit of a slow start, taking that route.
Oh, slow. So slow.
What accelerated it? What took it forward a little bit faster, a little bit stronger, a little bit wider?
You know, one of the things that happened to me along my journey is I ended up becoming a YouTube coach for like a big name that was out there. They don't do it as much now, but they had a coaching program that was a big high ticket thing. And it's a 90-day program. You work with coaches, of which I was one because I was recommended because a girl that I know was one of the coaches, and she was leaving to start her own thing. And so it was kind of a cool foot in the door to understand the inner workings behind some of these programs. And while I was there, it kind of like hit me. I was like, wow, this person makes more off of one cohort than I have in my entire life of like YouTube. And so, and then I started thinking, like, what do you need to be able to do this? And then, looking at all the other different ways that you make money. And I was like, so it really, back then I was talking about revenue pie, and I'm talking about everything with slices inside of it. And I started keeping track of like, where is my money coming from as a creator? So if it's my creator revenue pie, it was this much from Amazon and this much from AdSense and this much from, the course that did or didn't do that well. And so I started looking at it and I'm like, wow, I'm never going to get to where I want to unless I actually start making these bigger. And so that was one of the first things that really opened up my mind, because I was like, ooh, high ticket one-on-one coaching. And then like these little things. There was a self-paced course that was a lesser value, and then made money as well. And just kind of getting a peek at some of that, like how much money are you putting in? How much effort are you doing? Like, what are you doing when you hire people? It really got the brain wheels spinning. So I could, obviously I wasn't in the place to do that myself, but like at least think about it more. That was a big learning curve for me.
And so when you pick that up, when you kind of that penny dropped, if you will, what was the next action? What was that one? Because you've said already, you're not one for making excuses. You're not one for saying that I can't do because I don't know how. What did you take? What was the first action that you took following that penny dropping?
One of the things about me is I really don't like selling anything. And I think it's because I was in sales for like a good decade of my life. I was always doing YouTube at the same time as my corporate job or whatever jobs that I had. And part of, before I got to the corporate big tech world, I was in sales, a lot of sales, and non-commission sales, which is also kind of one of those where it's like an oxymoron if you think about it. I digress. But I was doing this, and I never really loved the feeling of selling stuff. And we had to sell everything, from extended warranties to upgraded everything to adding cables to just the whole thing. And so I went so on the opposite side of that, on like antithesis. I was like, I'm never going to ask my audience to buy anything. I'm never going to make anyone like have to ask. And I think what's really funny is like, you have to change your creator mindset as well to actually be able to understand that sometimes you have to make money too. So that came from then when companies were wanting to send me stuff, being like, oh, well, it's not free anymore. Now it's my time and cost to do this, or understanding how much I was making off of Amazon. And really, when I started looking at it, I was just like, the reason why in the past you might have felt icky was because maybe you thought you were pushing things on people who didn't want it. The difference is now, as a creator or someone, people are basically asking you for things. And so if you have a solution to provide and a shortcut to get them from where they would like to be to where they would like to go, that's okay to ask for money for that. And so it was actually quite a mind shift that happened for me to be able to do. I still don't like it, and I still am not great at it, but I have realized it's a necessary evil. So it's also one of those things where you have to figure out if you're really not good at it or if you just don't like doing it. Because I'm actually pretty good at it, I just don't like doing it. So I also know then what I could do is hire someone to go do that for me, and then just not have to do that. Does that make sense? There's a inventory that you take. Like, you can be good at it and not like it, or you can be like, and I think that's where we get into, I was watching a live stream that was happening between Chris Do from the future. And he was talking about to a woman, he's like, sometimes you have to escape your zone of excellence to get into a zone of genius. And a lot of people have a hard time doing that, because the zone of like excellence is where sometimes you make a lot of money, even if you don't like it, even if you don't feel comfortable. And getting out of that and getting into a zone of genius where you feel comfortable doing all those things and still making money is harder for a lot of people. So I'm still in that transition, but I'm working on it. And it is definitely getting better.
Oh, it's brilliant. And I do hear what you're saying. It's there's a skill set, and being able to apply those skills for good. No one's ever going to complain about that. And I'm sure I'm sure your community are eager for anything that you can offer them that helps them to either have a shortcut or learn something more quickly, or learn something that otherwise they wouldn't without you. So.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that Gary Vee mentality, right? Like that had like give, 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 and you don't really have to ask, but one day when you do, like they're willing.
Okay. And so talking about some of those little light bulb moments, that mindset shift, what's one of the, and I guess are there multiple myths, or are there any myths that you've kind of hit upon, or you keep hearing those when people start talking about revenue, that myth that keeps up that just won't go away?
Oh gosh, I always tell people so much, like shooting for at least 10 streams of income is always the goal, because people always think like YouTube AdSense is permission to start making money, when I know lots of channels that actually aren't even monetized and they're still making money because they're authorities in their field, or they're just using it to drive people into a funnel to buy things. So it's really interesting, again, changing the mindset of like, oh, I have to wait until I get like monetized. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but like if you're getting $1 for every 1,000 views. I remember I was doing some YouTube coaching for someone else, and I was having a conversation with them, and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to buy this TV and just for this YouTube channel. And I was just like, do you want this TV? And he's like, well, not really. And I'm like, okay, well, how much is the TV? It's $1,000. And I'm like, okay, so at 1,000, let's say 1,000 views and $1, how many views do you need to get to pay for this TV? He's like, I don't know, like 100,000, let's say. And I was like, do you get 100,000 on average now for your video views? And he's like, no, it's probably like 100 views. And I was like, then if you don't actually need this TV and you're not just like filming it because you're unboxing it at home and ready to watch the, the football game or whatever else you're watching, don't do this because it's not worth. This is creator math gone bad. This is where you're like, oh, no, it's going to be fine. I'm going to make money back. And you made $2 back. Like that doesn't even make sense. So yes, let's teach the world about creator math, because it's not worth going into debt. And the other myths are like, I have to have the best equipment. I have a girl right now, like I helped her get $100 worth of accessories for a better microphone and a better light. And she's now filming like videos for YouTube on her iPhone.
Brilliant.
Okay. And so she has views that are in the thousands on a brand new YouTube channel. And you've got some people going out there and buying these, big Sony $3,000 cameras, don't know anything about the settings, actually end up not knowing anything about lighting or microphone, or just forgot one or the other, and go out there and think that because they spent money, that it's like the equivalent of someone who then like shot in log and then forgot to ever put a color LUT on it, and then they go out and they're like, but it's what all the experts do. And I'm like, oh, you forgot a step. And that wasn't important because that didn't make you a better storyteller and didn't move it along any better. So it's funny what people believe are the limiting things before they can start a YouTube channel, whether it's, success after hitting monetization or getting the right equipment to even start in the first place.
And you mentioned earlier, like, that is one of those things that you like to tackle, get those things out of the way so there are no excuses. I can't do this. I don't know this. I don't have that. What is it that do you think, and is there a theme where there's something that triggers people to go down the gear route or go down the skill route and kind of constantly chase that? Is there something that comes up in there? Do you think, I look at creators that I admire and I think, oh, actually, they use that equipment, they use this software, that might be helpful and useful to me. But that's always my measure, that it would be useful or not. Is that pull of wanting to be like their creator so bad, or with such intensity, wanting to be like the creator with such intensity, do you think that's a big factor in why they want to replicate their gear or their software?
I think it's a couple reasons. First of all, it's comparisonitis, right? They're like, well, if I don't have the same camera as Marques, then I'm not going to have videos as good. And I'm like, Marques has built an entire YouTube channel called Autofocus, if you've seen it, where he shoots all of those videos off of his cell phone. And sometimes it's a Pixel phone, sometimes it's an iPhone, whatever he happens to be testing, sometimes for his main channel. But like that entire YouTube channel is shot with a phone. And it is wildly successful. So it's just mind-boggling to me that people think, oh, well, one, if I get the same equipment as, it's going to be great. Or because again, before you ever upgrade the video, I always tell this to people, I would upgrade audio and lighting first, before. And then I was like, it's also mind-boggling where you think about not only, okay, I have to have this equipment, but like you have the equipment, but you don't have the wherewithal or the years or thousands of video repetitions that they have, or it's like, wow, before you go out there and spend $300 on Final Cut Pro, why don't you use iMovie because it's free? Because you may go in to this entire thing, becoming a creator, go 50 videos deep, and then be like, I hate this. I don't like it at all. I don't even want to do it. And what happens if you just drop $3,000 on a brand new computer and camera and software? And now you have this thing that's just going to sit on a shelf. And so I am always a big proponent of use what you have until you can't do what you need to with it, even creatively. And then if you can find a solution that will fix your problem, then do that. But I'm not a big proponent of go out and buy the entire thing, because if you build it, they will come. It's not the same. It's not the same, because I know plenty of people who have a YouTube channel off of their phone. My friend El Jefe Reviews had an entire YouTube channel where I think he got to 40 or 50,000 before the community banded together and said, hey, stop shooting off your cell phone. Let's get you a camera. So, I mean, he was fine. And he now has a silver play button, and he's doing just fine with all the gear that he has. So it's just, I think, an excuse. People are like, well, once I have this camera, once I save up for this camera, or once I lose the 10 pounds, or once I, buy this new light, or once I have this better microphone, then. And I'm just like, gosh, wouldn't it be better if you had 30 videos under your belt and then you got that thing, and then people could comment on how much better it was, or that you also learned some things along the way making those 30 videos. So that's just me, though, personally. I just don't wait for that day, because that day may never come. You may never buy that camera. You might not never lose the 10 pounds, and that's fine. My friend Jessica Stansberry said, if I'd waited to lose the 10 pounds to start a YouTube channel, I still wouldn't have started it, because I've only gone up in weight since then. And, her channel's also wildly successful. So I feel like people always have these excuses in their pockets as to why they can't. And I'm just more like, put up or shut up.
That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. And I do. I think sweep all the excuses under the rug, get rid of them so you can't even see them, and then move on.
Right. And what's left is the truth, right? The truth is I'm scared because people are going to say things. Okay, well, let's go worst case scenario. What are they going to say? Okay, if they say this, what do you do? Oh, I probably add that to my blocked words. Oh, if they say this, what do you do? Oh, I probably block them. And I'm like, okay, well, now people can't say mean things to you. So what's your next one? Oh, well, right? So it's like that. When you strip it all away, at the end of the day, a lot of people are just scared of comparison, scared of people they know, like, seeing it, saying things. And I'm like, well, there's a solution for a lot of those things, but you're never going to get better until you actually do it. So that's where I stand with that.
Brilliant. So talking about kit specifically, what's the one piece that you think, actually, you can't live without? And might not be the most expensive, might not be the cheapest, but it's that one thing that you think, oh my gosh, this absolutely is my dream.
Are you talking about dream equipment
No.
that you don't have? Or
So-
just saying it's stuff that you have now?
So let me ask it another way. So
Yeah, sure.
so what's that one piece of kit that you have that you absolutely cannot live without?
You know what's funny is I don't think I have something. Is that... I don't know. I don't know if that's a record for your show, but
It is.
I don't think I have something, because honestly, I will make do, because I've gone through 6 different cameras. Sometimes I shoot off my cell phone. I've tried 3, 4, 5, 6 different mics. I've had like 7 different tripods. So I can't really think of anything where I'm just like, absolutely can't. I've made things and edited off my iPod. Like, I had a video kind of, for me, go viral about how to restore the bottoms of your red shoes with this shoe paint. So off-brand. It was just because it was something I was doing personally, and I sat there with an old potato of an iPad that I think it did 720, and then I edited it in iMovie and I uploaded that, and I think it